This is where the forecast begins. We get our most basic weather knowledge from a basic object, a balloon.
There's nothing better than being right there, up and personal with the weather, okay? And the balloons still do that.
For centuries, the weather balloon has been a foundational tool for understanding day-to-day local weather setups.
So we're using temperature, humidity, we're using pressure, wind direction, and wind speed.
Every day, across the country and the world, meteorologists follow the same steps, like clockwork.
Right now it's 4 o'clock local here and 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning. That's when we launch the balloons. And actually, every place in the world is doing it at the same time.
Providing a world-synchronized 3D snapshot of the Earth's atmosphere.
Basically, this is the engine.
It starts with the latex balloon.
And we fill it up with hydrogen. Once that's kind of filled up, I'll tie it off and then we'll attach a parachute to it.
The parachute deploys after the pop, slowing the descent of the key instrument.
So here's the radio sonde. The outer part will measure the temperature, okay? And the inner part will measure the humidity. And it will send a signal once per second, and that information will come through some wiring onto our computer software up there, and I'll be able to read it real time.
As launch hour approaches, the equipment goes outside for final steps.
Okay, and we're going to tie it off, otherwise the gas will all come out once we get pulled off this nozzle. Okay, that should be pretty good.
And now it's time for release.
The balloon starts at about 6 feet in diameter, but it gets way bigger. As it rises, it expands to nearly 20 feet wide, climbing above extreme heights, like higher than the Empire State Building, Mount Everest, and airplane altitudes, generally reaching around 100,000 feet, sometimes higher.
My most important thing is to make sure that the flight it gets off to a good start. Because once we let it go, we have no control over what happens up there.
From that moment on, the data feeds forecast models used worldwide.
I would say a matter of hours before you could actually have a forecast model data.
For Environment Northwest, I'm Audrielle Tackett. Over the river and through the woods is the way to Rocky Canyon's natural hot springs.
Did you fall?
It's an exploration that not everyone would be up for.
All right, I think I'm fine then.
But let's start with how we got here. The road in starts quiet. Miles north of Boise, the paved roads come to an end through winding hills, losing service, less people, more wildlife. The drive from Boise to Rocky Canyon Hot Springs is a little more than 60 miles and takes 90 minutes or so, putting you about 12 miles past the town of Crouch. And even after the drive, you're not quite there yet.
The starting point on foot is just down the side of this dirt road. But the next step is a little bit wetter and a lot colder.
To get to Rocky Canyon Hot Springs, you gotta work for it.
Oh my gosh, this is deep right here.
I hear it's a really exciting river crossing to get there.
The Middle Fork Payette River. Spring runoff this time of year only adds to the challenge of it being very cold, fairly fast, and in some areas nearly waist deep. But on the other side is the payoff.
Hot water is coming to the surface of the earth and bubbling out or streaming out in some way. A lot of times people have then come in afterwards and kind of created or excavated like a little bit of a pool so that you can enjoy that hot water.
Lauren Zinser with the U.S. Geological Survey says heat finds a way to be closer to the surface in places with geothermal activity.
So usually that has to do with plate tectonics. So those very same forces that created our mountains in the center of the state that make it so difficult to drive north or south or east or west are the same forces that have created all these hot springs for us to enjoy.
And while we can thank Mother Nature for the creation of these hot springs, it's also the reason why the experience can be unpredictable.
A lot of these springs are remote, which makes them really fun to go to, but that also means that you need to pay attention to all of the things that you should pay attention to when you're traveling deep into the mountains.
Getting here safely takes planning.
Pay attention to the condition of the roads, the condition of the trails. Of course, you wouldn't want to cross this river that was too high.
But for those willing to take the trip,
I think it's such a cool part of living in Idaho and being in Idaho to take advantage of this very unique characteristic.
Getting to this spa wasn't exactly easy, but that's exactly the point. Reporting from Rocky Canyon, Audrielle Tackett, Idaho's News Channel 7.
15, now 16, and 16, 16, now 17.
Today I am showing my 2025 market lamb. This is Stu. He weighs 127 pounds. I've had him since April. He's been an awesome lamb this year. I really enjoy watching the community come together and be able to see what these kids have been doing all year.
My steer weighs 15 pounds, and his average daily gain is 4.2 pounds a day. Then we raised him to be like this.
And now 12.
You get to network yourself really well. There is a nice paycheck that comes out of it, but also just spending time with those peers that do get to help you along the way and seeing all my efforts come together into one big piece.
We're at R-Bar H, where state health officials are looking into possible illnesses that were caused by raw milk. As testing continues, the owners here are sharing their side of the story and the safety steps they're taking.
We just want them to know that we really care about our consumers.
Hallie Gross says in their nearly 6 years of business, this is the first time their family-owned dairy has dealt with something like this. Central District Health announcing last week 9 people have fallen ill. All say it happened after drinking raw milk from R-Bar H.
Raw milk can be contaminated with several pathogens. For this particular outbreak, it's STEC, so sugar toxin producing E. coli. And the symptoms are more severe than maybe other pathogens that are found in raw milk.
As soon as we heard, I ran back here and I grabbed some samples from all the milk that we had and immediately took it to our lab in Meridian.
Gross says so far, their test results have come back within standard.
And with the total bacteria count, it's 100,000. We're 2,500. We don't know the source, but we know for here, with our testing and everything, it's not here. So that's what we're feeling.
Health officials say 2 families make up the 9 people sick. The youngest, a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old.
The two children that have been hospitalized have been diagnosed with hemolytic uremic syndrome, HUS, which is acute kidney failure, essentially.
Gross says they've been fully cooperating with the investigation. She says raw milk is appealing to people because of its vitamins and benefits to gut health, but says it's also extremely important to handle and store it properly once it leaves their facility.
Raw milk gets a bad deal anyways, but we're a small business. I mean, we want our consumers, we want the Treasure Valley, we want everybody to know that we have the highest standards of cleaning and really keeping the milk as safe as possible.
Health officials say if you choose to drink raw milk, make sure you refrigerate it within 30 minutes of purchase, keep it within recommended temperatures, and check for signs of spoilage.
Even though it's legal in Idaho, it's not risk-free. And so I would recommend not drinking raw milk because of those risks.
We have seen a lot of negativity. We've seen a lot of positive too. We've had people that use our milk all the time called us and go, you know what, we love it, we've not been sick, we are backing you. And that makes us feel good.
And out of an abundance of caution, they are halting production for now, not because anyone is making them, but because they want to make sure that all of the test results come back and the product is safe before it goes back on the shelves. Christian Lopez, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Ski mountaineering. Or, as the professionals call it, ski-mo. Because who needs a lift anyway?
If you can do this, it opens up kind of infinite possibilities.
Skier Ryan Gelfie describes the sport as true freedom.
If there's fresh snow, coming out and getting fresh tracks before work, that's pretty worth it.
But skimo didn't start as a hobby. Long before it became a sport, ski mountaineering was a necessity. Various cultures used skimo as a way to simply survive, traveling through steep snow terrain to hunt and trade, especially across Scandinavia. In the late 19th century, skiers in the Alps realized those same techniques became the only way to climb steep mountains that lifts, roads, and trails couldn't reach. The first skimo competition was in 1933 in Italy, and by 2002, the sport got sanctioned by the International Ski Mountaineering Federation, giving it a governing body. Now, racers compete across the U.S., including in McCall, Idaho at Little Ski Hill. Now, skimo's making its debut this year at the 2026 Milan Winter Olympics.
So they're pretty short, high-intensity races that are going to be in the Olympics.
But how exactly does skimo work?
What do we have? What do we have here?
First, you need skis with skimo bindings, which only lock in the front of your ski boot, not the back. That gives you flexibility to walk.
Right now you're in walk mode. The ankle will flex forward and back, and when we go to ski downhill, you flip that buckle and it gets pretty stiff, like a downhill boot would.
While you can skimo on regular downhill skis, skinnier skis are preferred and faster for the sport.
And then this type of ski can run the gamut from really fat and heavier all the way down to like this ski, which is a race ski, a skimo race ski. So
and they're lighter, getting up that mountain as fast as you can.
You can feel the weight. You can feel the weight of it.
Oh wow, that's like
it weighs maybe a third or like maybe half as much those.
Next, you're gonna need your skins. Those stick to the ski and they're grippy on the bottom, so you don't slide back down the mountain.
These are skins, or this is a skin. This is what you put on the bottom of the ski, so you can go uphill. This fabric goes forward nice and smooth, but it's got this one-way fiber to it.
Okay.
So it doesn't slide back. You can go, you could go straight up that hill if you wanted.
Lastly, grab your poles and up the hill you go.
It's not that different from hiking.
But hiking, you're signing up to walk up a mountain. Skiing, why would you?
Usually when you're skiing, you get, your nice relaxing lift up and then a pretty easy ride down. Talk through, this is a workout.
This is a hard workout, yeah, if you want it to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fun part about whether it's like a race or you're just out ski touring, it's a choose your own adventure in terms of how hard you want it to be.
Gelfie says that's the fun of it. Skimo allows him to ski whenever he wants, wherever he wants, as long as there's snow.
It's fun, to be fit and be able to climb mountains.
And the races, he says those are a way to meet other skimo enthusiasts.
It brings that whole group of people together. You're like, oh wait, there's dozens and dozens or hundreds of people that like this stuff.
With no lift required.
There's all this great public land across Idaho. Most of it you can go ski on.
Awesome.
and I think it's pure freedom. It's really fun. It's a great way to train and stay fit, and it's pretty addictive.
Is it worth it?
It says here in this pamphlet, Oregon cannot be outdone, whether in wheat.
That's the question many settlers faced centuries ago when migrating west from Missouri.
Lots of lives were lost here. Wagons, animals, livestock, property could still be at the bottom of the river.
More than 500 miles of the Oregon Trail cuts through Idaho, and the most dangerous crossing is a section of the Snake River along Three Island Crossing State Park in Glens Ferry.
What made it so treacherous was just the amount of water passing through, trying to get your wagon across. If they didn't decide to cross here, hot, dry conditions on the other side.
Park Ranger Kevin Fossen says the pioneers used 2 of the 3 islands in the Snake River to cross nearly 200 yards of water.
They'd go to the middle island, to the tip of it, and actually come back upriver a little bit, and then just bring their wagons out right down here.
The 3rd island, Fossen says, was too dangerous to use.
3rd island, put them in deep and swift-moving water, so they couldn't use that one.
If they crossed successfully, it was another 90 miles of travel to get to Boise, taking them through what is today known as the Oregon Trail Reserve.
It's a really cool spot to come and actually learn about the Oregon Trail and the folks that went through here. The reserve takes hikers through 3 miles of trail, following the wagon ruts along the rim of the Boise Valley. The path is lined with signage detailing the struggles settlers faced and their complex relationships with Native Americans. The signs along the reserve were revamped last year to better tell the trail's history.
There's some more historically accurate wording that was put in, and wording that was a little more sensitive to the Native populations than the previous wording.
To do this, graphic designer Antonia Hedrick says she used illustrations and models to captivate readers.
The tribal models are actual tribal members, living tribal members, and they willingly allowed themselves to be drawn and used.
Today, the Oregon Trail Reserve is used for hiking, biking, and learning.
They can hike or ride their bike, walk their dog, and learn a lot about the area just through stopping and looking at the interpretive signs.
And back at the 3 Island Crossing, visitors can camp, spot wildlife, and visit the site's History Center.
We have this amazing history center here, the Oregon Trail History and Education Center, amongst hiking trails throughout the park, all kinds of fun things to do here.
But the islands are only accessible when water levels are low. Whether you're looking for a new place to hike or learn more about the Oregon Trail, the history that unfolded along the route can be felt with every step. Reporting for Exploring Idaho, Gabrielle Salgado, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Been a lot of emotions, a lot of resentments, anger, frustration.
Typically, on a day like today, Frank Jordan, the chef and owner of Bowboy, would be in the kitchen.
We specialize in Japanese curry and steam buns, which we make fresh in-house.
But instead, he says he's unable to serve the community and locked out of his kitchen, which is one of 6 retail spaces at the Boardwalk Apartments in Garden City, an opportunity Jordan jumped at in 2024.
Open up a full service, serve beer and wine, create a more warming experience. Boardwalk seemed like a really good opportunity, beautiful spot.
But he says after signing the 5-year lease, there were multiple setbacks, including a 5-month delay in the Boardwalk allowing the retail spaces to open.
It went from June 20th to July 20th to hopefully the first part of August to now we're looking at maybe like October, and then we finally opened in November 15th in the cold of winter. After having staff hired since June.
He says throughout this first year of business, there were several inconsistencies causing disagreements between Bowboy and the Boardwalk management, including common area fees.
The CAM charges recently almost over doubled.
Or window cleaning fees, Jordan says, were never discussed in the original agreement. To Jordan's surprise, on October 21st, he says management suddenly locked him out of his space, terminating his lease. He says they won't let him in to gather his equipment he estimates to be worth $100,000.
Everything from the sandwich top to my steamer to the range to the coolers. I mean, we need to get that stuff back.
Jordan's lawyer sent the Boardwalk management a letter on November 4th alleging the termination was done without due process and violated Idaho law, which says landlords must go through the court system to evict a tenant.
I wasn't evicted, I was illegally forced out.
In the letter, his lawyers say Jordan is losing $1,000 each day the restaurant is closed, totaling now over $20,000 in lost income and $5,000 in food that has now gone bad.
A lot of the products too that we use, they come from Japan and they're imported directly.
When asked if management gave him reasoning for terminating the lease, Jordan says in a letter sent to him after he was locked out, it mentioned a disagreement Jordan and management had about a recent complaint from someone living above the Bowboy space, saying that the hood vent was too loud.
I've always kind of just been a critic. I've spoke my mind if I felt like something wasn't fair or if it wasn't right. I've said it and I've stated my beliefs.
Management told Jordan he could only run his hood vent, an appliance that hangs over the stove to remove smoke and steam, during certain hours, but Jordan pushed back, saying they cook 24 hours a day.
I have to run that fan to cook the food because some of the techniques that we do, like our sous vide pork belly, goes for 12 hours.
He speculates the termination of the lease is in retaliation to pushing back on things, rather than management having a valid reason to terminate his lease.
It's not fair what happened. And I feel like a situation like this extreme situation where I was illegally locked out and forced out, people just need to know about it.